One of the blocks up there. It's a very fascinating thing for the White Tower. Right, we're now in the Tower Green, the green of the Tower. Now, unlike most greens and village greens, where you'll find perhaps a cricket pitch or maybe even a mill pond, we've got our own private execution site. And that site is marked by that small glass memorial, and is not to be confused with the public scaffold outside on the hill. You have to be a very close personal friend of the King or Queen to be executed there. Yeah, it's not what you know, is it? Yeah. Now, 3 Queens of England were executed there, and some others, but before I tell you their stories, I'd like to describe a few of the buildings that surround the green. If you look right down the end of the path, you can see the entrance to the bloody tower, and there's some exhibitions in there that will be quite interesting if you go in there. Moving along, you can see the large black and white Tudor building, and that's called the Queen's House. It was originally the Lieutenant's Lodgings, but it's been added to over the years, and that was built around about 1540. It's the best preserved Tudor building in the City of London, thanks mainly to the Great Fire of London burning all its competition. It's now the home of the Constable of the Tower of London, and being the home of such a high-ranking official, it has sometimes been used to accommodate some very important prisoners. Prior to her execution in 1542, Queen Catherine Howard spent time in there. A man called William Penn spent 8 months on the top floor for his offensive writing. He was only released on the condition that he left this country, which he did. He crossed the Atlantic and he founded the Quaker colonies, Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. Anyone from that neck of the woods? No? Okay. Another man in there was Guy Fawkes. You heard of him? Yeah. Guy Fawkes at the Houses of Parliament in 1605. He's commemorated every year, November the 5th, by the people of this country by having bonfires and setting fireworks off. Now, he was questioned in there for some time in the council chamber, but he wouldn't tell them what they wanted to know, so they dragged him into the White Tower, down into the basement, and there they tortured him for 3 days. He left considerably broken and a little bit taller, to be fair. He went back in there and he signed his confession. Now, a lot of people think he was burnt at the stake, but actually he wasn't. He was supposed to be hung, drawn and quartered at Old Palace Yard, Westminster. But whilst the execution was about to take place, Guy Fawkes, he denied us of our pleasure and threw himself off the scaffold, breaking his neck instantaneously. Now, we bought tickets for that hung, drawn and quartering. We're not going to let something like that get in the way of it, so we watched him get hung, drawn and quartered anyway, even though he was dead. And there you'll find 91 inscriptions carved into the walls by the prisoners. Some of those carvings are over 500 years old, and they truly show the misery those poor people must have gone through. On this side, we're going to go and see the Chapel Royal of St. Peter ad Vincula. That's one of the last parts of our tour. And finally, you can see the very large building with the golden faces of the clocks, and beneath that clock is the entrance to the crown jewels and royal regalia. And when you go in there, ladies, you're going to be looking at over 20,780 rare diamonds, rubies, pearls, amethysts, gold, more gold, quite a lot of gold, about 11 tons of gold, topaz, jade, and the Cullinan 1 diamonds in there as well. Cullinan 1, 530.2 carats of pure diamond. When you look at that fabulous diamond, ladies, your legs are going to go weak. Your lips will start to tremble, perhaps even a tear will form in one eye. Can I just give you a word of advice, ladies? Don't be tempted to bring your engagement ring up and start to compare the two. All that's going to do is confirm that nagging doubt that's been scratching away at the back of your head all the time, that in fact you've probably married a loser. So, let's return our attention to the scaffold site. In fact, I'm going to make a little judgment call here because I think it's about to rain, so we're going to go inside the chapel straight away. As we go into the chapel, may I remind you it's a place of worship. Gentlemen, if your religion permits you to do so, please remove your headdress. Also, now's the time to turn off your electronic equipment. I don't want to see any cameras out, no pictures inside there. And please, if your phone goes off in there, God is going to strike you dead. Not necessarily today, but he's definitely going to catch up with you. Also, ladies, as you're going in, please be careful. There's a small step. It's haunted and it trips up wicked and sinful women. All right? Now, don't you worry, you wicked, sinful women, because I'll be waiting just inside, ready to catch you. With my strong arms, I'm going to hold you close to my bosom for what you're going to consider an inappropriate length of time. That's the job. So, I'm going to be quite busy. Then, if you trip and fall, it's going to hurt. I'd like to go up to my George Clooney and Val Kilmer look-alike double up there. They're going to let you in.